This is the Mr. Val.
Hello, and welcome to the Miserable Metal Man podcast, episode number 14. A podcast involving three metal fans of a similar age and heritage. Two of these fans like to listen to new heavy metal music, one of them does not. Once a month, we meet up with recommendations for you and him to try and change his miserable metal mind. We often have guests to assist us in this task, and this week, month even, is no exception. I would like you to all be excited and joyful in the welcoming of a guitar player for one of my favourite sludgy bands, Adam Robertshaw from Manchester Legends, although I've just found out he's from Bradford, Barbarian Hermit.
Hello.
Hey.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
Evening.
No,
Right.
thanks for being here.
Thanks for turning up. Everyone keeps cancelling.
Not everyone. Stop it, give over.
That means he's got to do some editing now.
It does. I always have to do editing when you're on this show. So what have we been up to, guys? Adam, do you want to start with your album and promotions and so on and so forth?
Before
Wait a
we
minute, Simon wants to
go
butt
any
in.
further, I was late to getting here because I've just fallen off a 30-foot ladder.
Wow.
Luckily, I was only on the first step, so I'm all right.
Don't laugh, Adam.
I won't encourage him.
So yeah, Adam, do you want to tell us about your new magnificent album?
Yeah.
Although,
Yes.
get one.
Yeah. So it was released a month ago the other day. So it came out on the 2nd of August. It's called Mean Sugar. Came out on APF Records, records label that we've been good friends with since they did our first album, Solitude and Savagery. And yeah, the response has been amazing. Got really good press in the lead up to the launch. Got loads of 8s and 9s out of 10 from various pretty decent publications. And then when it came out, everybody who heard it said it was fantastic, which we were very chuffed with. We did a launch party at Rebellion, and that was just like went even better than we expected. We expected maybe 100 people through the door or something like that, but we had 200, so we doubled our expectations. It was packed from the moment the doors opened, and we had a great time playing the thing in full.
Marvellous.
Fantastic.
And you got some more dates coming up, haven't you?
Yeah, got a few more dates. Got some next month in October. Just doing a short run, like a little weekender in Rotherham, the Hive, Nottingham at Liquid Brewery, and the Devonshire Arms in Camden. We've got we're taking a band Under, who are label mates. They played our launch show as well. Good friends of ours. We're taking them with us. I'm just in the process of just sorting all the local supports out for each date. I think they're booked in for the Nottingham one. I think they've been announced. Can't remember off the top of my head who we've got. It's a great lineup, and we're just working on the supports for the other 2 dates now.
Okay. And the show in Bolton later in the year?
Yes, we've just been announced for a show supporting Viking Skull Legends. We're very excited about that. And I don't think it's been announced yet, so I won't say it. But yeah, there's a great other support from APF Records.
Oh wow! Right, okay.
Joining us on that bill, but they've not been announced just yet, so I won't say anything. But keep an eye out for that.
Fair enough.
Whereabouts in Bolton is
The Alma.
Simon Dawes.
We used to see that as a punishment playing at the end.
I mean, it is a bit of a dive bar, but it's got character.
Yeah.
We played our first ever gig there, so it's always bad.
I mean that's many bands from the Northwest. First gig is it the Alma. Yeah.
And, I mean, it's got better over the years, like since they've got Big Jim.
Well, there's not as many prostitutes in there now trying to wank you off under the tables.
Yeah, I can't say that's ever happened to me there. So,
all right.
You must be doing
well, that's
there.
maybe my age showing a little bit, but that certainly happened to a mate of mine on his 18th.
Oh, wow.
We took him out and got absolutely wankered, and he had to. There was a prostitute trying to wank him off under the table. So. Only in the Alma.
Yeah. We actually wrote a song about the Alma, but it's on our first EP called Alma.
Excellent.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Is it called Sticky Floor?
No, it's just called Alma. But...
Kind of gives it away.
Yeah, that was one of the first shows that they did where they actually put the show in the beer garden outside rather than in the stage indoors. The police came halfway through our set, which we were pretty proud of because they could hear it about a mile away.
Yeah, good.
So in December, will you be inside or outside?
I believe it'll be inside just because it'll be freezing.
But
yeah, the outside stage is great. They have pushed the outside dates even into sort of winter before. I think it just gets a bit too cold.
Yeah, December's going to be. Yeah.
Oh. And you're effectively playing in a back street.
Yeah.
Aren't you? What have I been up to? I've been on holiday to the lovely island of Mallorca.
Nice.
Yeah. So I went there for 10 days. And I think that's all I've been up to, really.
Did you go for a run of sporting events, or was it just a holiday?
Holiday.
Although I did train every day. Hired a bike for a week. Swam, run, cycled. Went up a couple of climbs out there, as you do. That's about it, really. Yeah, that's all I've been up to. Not listened to any music apart from the last couple of days.
Well,
although I did say I was going to listen to it outside of the pool while I was chilling out, but turns out kids have other ideas when you want to chill out. So I just dive bombing in and out of the pool for 10 days, really, after that.
Well, you could say that before every episode, couldn't you? You were going to listen to them. And then
yeah, that is true. That is true. I listened to like the first song of one of the albums, and I just thought it's going to ruin my holiday. This, so I just left it. I left it till I got back home and went to work, and I thought, well, the holiday's definitely finished now. I'll listen to these albums. So yeah. What about you, Neil? What have you been up to?
I've been a bit dull myself, really. Apart from Bloodstock, that's all I've managed to do, really.
All right.
Very much enjoyed Bloodstock. I saw lots of bands. Quite drunk.
Anybody good?
Everybody was good.
Anybody good and anybody we've heard of?
There was loads that lots of people would have heard of, or else they wouldn't be playing at Bloodstock.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, well, you would do. And then if you heard of them, I could say Iron Maiden and you'd go, who? I don't know who you're talking.
I have watched what came up on my YouTube feed this morning. Ugly Kid Joe at Bloodstock.
That was
that
last year, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was it? I'm sure it said 24 on it.
No, it was last year, I think.
Was it? All right. Did you watch them last year?
I did, and I also spoke to you about it, you fool.
Listen, we've seen each other this morning, and I've already forgot what we were talking about. So, yeah.
So, yeah, not done much more than that, really. Been a bit busy, really. Bought a camper van.
Nice. What have you bought that for?
I'm not even going to answer that question, you foolish man. So, yeah, we're going to get, we go away, so we're going to go away.
Right. Anywhere special?
I'm definitely not telling you where I am going to spend my weekends.
You don't want that knock on the door, do you?
Your grubby, greasy little hands climbing up the window.
Hiya!
Neil, we don't do chicken.
Yeah,
I've already ruined one of my holidays.
It's a problem, that. If you want some bacon, fair enough, go to Denmark, but don't fucking ask for any chicken anywhere.
He's not still on about chicken, is he?
He is.
He is.
He is. I know.
So, Paul, what have you been up to, pal? We've got you now, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think there was a change in headphones and it just went a little bit bizarre. What have I been up to? Oh, more of the usual. Loads of festivals since the last one. I did have a good experience with Ugly Kid Joe, actually, though.
Good.
The Whitfield Crane, when we were shooting them at Stone Dead, gets all the photographers up on the stage. And
I saw your post.
We had a couple of songs from behind the stage, which was something that we don't often get. So that was quite good. That was quite cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's been festivals, gigs, and keeping the review site up to speed. So we've had a few reviews coming through and got a couple of promotional singles out for people that I've been sent stuff, so looks like we're going all right. I think we're coming up to 100 posts relatively soon, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
I was going to ask you, Adam, when I was doing my mime, the decision to do an album launch gig.
Yeah.
Is that the first time you've done it, or have you done it before?
No, we did it with the last one as well.
Yeah.
The last one we had at Northern Monk Refectory in Manchester. That was a cool show because we released a beer on the same day as the album came out.
Yeah.
So we had it as a beer and album launch, and everybody got very, very drunk. We were hoping to do the same this year because we collaborated with them again on a beer, but when the brewers tasted it, they did a tester just before the launch show, and they said it needed a few more weeks in the tank just to get the flavours melding nicely. So it didn't come out until a couple of weeks after the launch. But yeah, I'm still yet to have a can of it actually. Waiting on them. They said they were going to send a crate of it to us, but just waiting on the delivery.
So are we talking a beer or a lager?
It's a black IPA with blueberry, coconut, and vanilla. So we wanted something to go with like the mean sugar concept, so something that's dark but with a nice sweetness in it. So it's 7.5%, so it'll get you trolleyed as well. So.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Is there when you do the album launch, is there any kind of trepidation that people won't turn up, or are you quite comfortable? I'm going to one on Friday where they've Black Lakes, who are a South Wales band, are doing it in Bristol in about a 300 cap venue, and I'm not sure how many they've actually sold.
Yeah, there was a bit of that. I mean, we knew we've got plenty of friends in Manchester, and we knew like, that kind of gig, friends and family are going to come, even if they're not that bothered about the music. But when we put the tickets on sale, like, we were refreshing the C tickets thing every day. And like, I've only sold 12, but then like in the like last couple of weeks before the show, like it just kept jumping up, and then like, we couldn't believe it when we got to the day, and we'd sold more than we expected, and then there were probably another 80 or so paid on the door. So
wow,
yeah, it was a nice.
You should have had dynamic pricing.
Yeah,
switched on.
Yeah, that's a term I've only just heard about this week.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it's been around for years. That.
Right. Well, why would I know about it?
Well, you go to a lot of big shows. You only go to big shows, don't you? These big festivals, big shows. You know, Paul's the only one that keeps it real, going to the smaller venues. What was your last gig you went to, Neil?
Dark.
Bloodstock, that big festival that nobody's ever heard of.
Because.
And what were you saying the other week? Oh, I'd love to go to what's that other little one in France? Hellfest. You know,
that small, Paul, tiny little festival.
Yeah, Paul's been to. I bet he's been to the Dog and Duck in Swansea, photographing some band we're reviewing next week or something.
I went to the HMV Empire in Coventry actually on Saturday.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, you see. How many people were there?
Was that good?
It was brilliant. It was really good, yeah.
Yeah.
I've just seen it.
Smaller venues, Neil. You won't give it a try sometime.
Oh, my God.
It was good. They got Fury next year, they've announced already, so that was great.
Yeah, so that's what piqued my interest, actually.
Yeah.
The local...
I wanted to watch a band people have heard.
The local HMV in Bradford's just started putting gigs on. I think we're going to try and get on theirs. They've got Cyclona coming up next month, which should be...
Oh, yeah, Christoph.
Yeah, but it's like 2 in the afternoon it starts, so... Like,
wow.
Yeah, a little matinee show in the shopping centre in Bradford. Can be interesting.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
No, I've got to be fair. Hello Rocks was first one. They had 8 bands for £20.
Not bad.
And it was started at 5, finished at about 11:30. And
there you go, Neil. You'll be on for your cocoa.
Cracking little venue. Good turnout, about 150 people there. They broke even. They've already started next year's planning, so that's great.
That's good. That's really good, that.
It was good.
Good on you, Paul. Paul's keeping the local music scene in Wales alive all on his own.
Even though I had to go to Coventry, yeah.
Yeah, Coventry.
No, there was an ulterior motive because Metal Talk, who I write for, their name was on the poster, and the week before we had no one going. And the editor said, "Oh, we're just going to have to send apologies." And I said, "You cannot have your name on the poster as a sponsor and have no one go." So I trooped along and had a night in the Premier Inn in Coventry City Centre, which was interesting.
Yeah, I bet.
But it was good. It was good.
Marvellous. Right, well, after that criticism from Simon, I think we'll go on to the albums, eh?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Before we go, I wanted to ask Adam how many.
We're not finishing. I'm not pressing stop on the record.
Which is a fucking. I'll be honest with you, that's a surprise because that's happened before as well.
No, it hasn't.
How many people are in your band?
There's 5 of us. Right.
And is it 2 guitarists, bass player, drummer, and singer?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Does the singer play instruments as well?
He does a bit of percussion on the album, and he bought a theremin, like it's like a basically the one that he's got is like it looks like a weird spaceship. It's like It's got a few different sort of sounds it can make with it. So if you listen carefully, there's some little wow sort of noises that he puts on it.
Is it Star Trek that used the theremin?
Yeah, I think so.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Doctor Who. Sorry, I think it's Doctor Who.
Hawkwind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh well, of course. Yeah. Let's fucking get back onto them.
Bruce Dickinson used it on his last tour.
Oh, he did. He did.
Yeah.
I know. I got the song wrong in my review, and some twat went, "It wasn't that one. It was the other one he used his theremin on." I said, "You're lucky I could remember it."
Were you all based then?
So the majority of the band's Manchester. One of the lads lives in Macclesfield, and I live in Bradford. I used to live in Manchester, so I spent the majority of the band like 10 minutes down the road from the practice room. But now it's an hour's drive to get there. But I'm
don't tell him where you live, Adam. Don't tell him where you live. He will be round.
Yeah, I'm originally from Bradford, but lived in Manchester for probably about 15 years, and then moved back from.
Is that where you met all the rest of the band?
Yeah.
Right. Sorted. And whereabouts do you rehearse?
Stockport. I won't tell you exactly where in Stockport, but just in case.
I know where it is, and if it's in Stockport.
Well, to be fair, there's about 3 different practice rooms within like a mile sort of radius. So
we'll find you. Don't worry about it. We'll find you.
Forget the word. Forget weird.
Yeah.
Right, good stuff. And how long have you been together? I missed the beginning part of the conversation.
It's probably it's 10 years this year. Yeah.
Is it right?
So probably this month actually. I think I joined 10 years this month. Should do a little celebration or something, but
yeah. Well, I mean, if you were playing for a team for 10 years, you'd get a special game after, wouldn't you? Charity match or something. Yeah, good stuff. And now, have the whole band been going 10 years? Or have they been going?
Yeah, so they were just sort of in its infancy when I joined. So my connection to him was Mike, the other guitarist. He used to be in a band called Bison Hammer in Manchester. I don't know if you remember those guys.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
And then I was a massive fan of Bison Hammer, so I used to go to as many gigs as I could, and got friends with them. And then when they disbanded, Mike put a thing on Facebook saying he was looking for another guitarist for a new band who was starting. So I applied, auditioned, and got in. And then the rest is history, so to speak. So there's me, Mike, and then a couple of other guys, Chris and Loz, who have since left. And then we got Cy in shortly after I joined. Did that first EP, and then Chris and Loz left. Then we got Gaz and Rob, and then Cy left, and then we got Ed, and then Ed left, and Cy came back. So it's been a bit of musical chairs, but we're hopefully.
That's the problem with people called Simon. They're like a bad smell. We keep coming and going.
Yeah. But we're very glad he came back because he was sort of like the missing piece of the puzzle.
And what does
He's
Cy
the singer,
do? Right? No.
I mean, no disrespect to Ed, that album that we did with him.
Listen, you disrespect him. He's not in the band anymore.
I really rate the album that we did with him, but I think
I love that album.
Yeah.
So I've seen you twice now with Sai,
Right.
and you've not played anything from that album. Has that been disregarded or
not totally? It's just because Ed had a very certain style, a very particular style, and he wrote a lot of words in his songs. So I think so when Sai came back, it was like, yeah, we'll do some of those songs. But then when it came to actually learning them, we were more in writing mode. So we were just like, let's not spend too much time you learning those songs.
Yeah.
Let's write some new stuff.
Yeah.
So
And that's a better experience anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you've got someone new in the band writing new gear, it feels like it's their band as well.
Absolutely.
They're just filling in for somebody else.
But those songs are great. So I think now that we've got a bit of time, now that this new album's finished and out, we might revisit a couple of the tracks off that for the live shows.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, Sai, get off your ass.
Get off your ass.
Start reading and learning some lyrics.
But there's a couple of songs off it that we have played a couple of times live. But because we wrote the music for No Sleep and Beyond the Wall while Sai was still in the band, but Ed rewrote lyrics. So Sai now, occasionally when we do play those songs, he sings the old version of his original lyrics. So it's the same music but different.
I just want to say that's pettiness of the highest order.
Well, again, he didn't want to.
I don't blame him.
Learn something new when he already had a set of lyrics in his pocket from last time he was in the band. So under him, No Sleep is still called. Oh no, No Sleep is called Guilt, the Endless Ghost, and Beyond the Wall is called Del Toro, under Size with Size lyrics. But it's the same tune for both of them.
Oh,
it's an interesting way to go about it. I don't think I've seen other bands do that.
Yeah.
Adam, I don't think I've seen Simon as engaged with any guests before. As much as this before. I hope you take something from it.
Especially not another drummer.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it is usually a drum loving.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get to know a guitarist instead rather than a drummer.
Warning. Please take all negative comments in the tongue-in-cheek manner they are intended. Basically, don't be a dick.
I would like to introduce my band. Now, I was going to do this a couple of months ago, but I thought they were too similar to one of Paul's choices, Lucifer. They both do me occult sounding with female vocals, so I thought I would wait a while, and now it is time. So we
thought you'd wait a while and just copy Paul. Oh,
no, it's not copying if you wait for a while.
I'm going to do something like that, Paul. I'll have to wait a couple of months now.
Go on, Neil. Keep going.
Go on, don't let him put you off.
Formed in 2019 in New York, this debut album has gone down very well with critics and fans alike. It's heavy metal with gothic fantasy doom at its core. The tunes are varied on here, with the emotional track Cry For Me as a ballad type of an affair. I would like to choose the track from this album, Feed My Dreams, for the podcast. But before I hand over to get your opinion, I am sure that most listeners know I have now given up trying to appeal to Simon. I don't care what he thinks anymore. I am recommending this to you as a listener, and hopefully both Adam and Paul. So let's find out. We'll go to Paul first.
Yeah, this is okay with me. I've reviewed every album that we've had this month, so
you've done this as well.
I did this back when it came out for Female Fronted Power. Riley Pinkerton, the vocalist, works in the Great Frog New York City branch, not the London branch, and she was very rude to the editor of Female Fronted Power when they asked for an interview, and he sent his questions along. She said, "Your questions are really boring and unimaginative, and I'm not going to give you the interview." So,
oh wow!
So the review has actually been pulled off their site in protest, but it's fine. I mean, it is short. It is medieval doom. It's very much, if you like Tony Iommi's riffs, then you're going to like this. Yeah, it's fine. I enjoyed it when I listened to it. I hadn't listened to it since, but I was quite happy listening to it again. Not going to make an album of the year, but it's perfectly good.
Okay. Adam, what's your thoughts, pal?
Did you say the name of the band? It was Castle Rat. Yeah,
yes.
I don't think he did. Adam, well picked up.
What did I say?
Don't know. You probably just said.
I was probably going to say it, and then you just burst in and blew my bubble.
Yeah.
It's
all right.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's very much in that sort of vein of sort of psychedelic doom sort of revival kind of stuff. I think when the first riff kicked in, I was like, oh, it's just another one of these. As I listened to the rest of it, as it progressed, there were a few more ideas in there that sort of did tickle my fancy a bit more. And by the end of it, I was really, really digging it. She's got a great set of pipes on her. The sort of the harmony work with the guitars was great. I think the tones could have been a bit chunkier for me. Just I think they're a bit thin on some of the tracks. But I was reading about it, and apparently it was recorded in 2 days in an old abandoned church. So when you take that into account, like.
Right, so they've got a good thing.
Yeah. Like to say, like we spent 12 days on ours, and we could have done with more time. So two days is pretty impressive to get an album like that out. So, and I think you can hear it in the sort of the rawness of the performances. I think that I imagine they performed it live rather than multi-tracking everything. Gives a bit of soul to the performance as well. So yeah, I enjoyed it. They're not breaking any boundaries, but they did what they did well.
Yeah, it's certainly not brand new, but it's it's good at what it is. I think. Well, as you said, it does sound like it was recorded live as a band all performing together. Now I know Simon liked that in a recording. So does this mean? And we genuinely don't know. Does this mean you like this album?
I mean, they could have took 2 years in that fucking church. Would have been interesting, would it? I mean, of course, it's not going to sound new. Anything that's a revival is something revived from old, so it's never going to sound new, is it?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
But they're not trying to sound new either.
Well, why can't they fucking give it a go? It might be something a bit more interesting. I can't stand the sound of the singer on this. I don't think it's that bad. It feels a bit samey all the way through. Yeah, I really do. It just plods all the way through. And here we go again. I'm singing
Simon.
And that's how it is.
They're American, not Swedish.
It's just all right, but I can't get on with the singer. I don't like it. I don't get trying to sound in the 70s. I think I might be retracing all ground here, but in the 70s they didn't have the technology. That's why they sound like that. Now we've got the technology where we might sound a little bit better than singing in a fucking church. The reverb, if that's natural reverb from the church, fuck me. Just put something on the walls to stop it bouncing. It was horrible. I didn't like it at all. At all. Awful. And I honestly thought, if anything, I'm disappointed in it because when you all give me what we're listening to, and then I forgot who said what, I just put the search in, and then I look and find, oh, that was the album, that's that album. So I forget who that's what. I thought this was Paul's. I thought this was Paul's choice. And
you would have liked it. You would have liked it, wouldn't you? If it was Paul's. But just because it's mine, you can't like it.
No, if anything, that makes the next one. It makes me disappointed when we go to the next one. I listened to the next one thinking, well, this one of Neil's. Jesus. So, no, not for me. Like it's musically, it's not terrible, and they're decent musicians, and it's put together all right. But I just can't get on with the singing at all. It drove me nuts.
Is that female singers, or is
No,
that just
no, it's just the sound. The sound of it, like I said, it's certainly dragged from the 70s, isn't she? You know, and I just don't like that sound.
But what sounds do you like?
The sounds of silence.
Yeah, if it's not Weezer or a Tool, you're not interested, are you?
If it's not good, I'm not interested.
Do you like Green Lung?
Were they the ones who sung about Wilmslaw?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Alderley Edge.
Alderley Edge.
Didn't like that.
It was Alderley Edge.
Alderley
Edge. That was it. And then what was the other band? Lucifer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure I didn't like that as well.
No, you didn't.
I think that was my same. I think I had the same complaint.
Yeah.
Well, you do every week, to be honest. You need to get something new, really.
Well, I suppose. I mean, I don't get the if that's like a type of revival where we're dragging that stuff back. I just don't get it, mate.
That's more of a journalistic thing as well. People giving it the revival tag. I assume they're just making music that they like. And
if they're heavily influenced from that era, you know.
Oh, they are definitely.
But usually, like I've said before, you take what influences you and you add your own little thing to it, and it doesn't feel like they're adding their own thing.
Yeah, 'cause I think Green Lung do add something a bit new and a bit more polished to that sound, whereas these guys are just carbon copies of. This sounds like it could have been recorded in the 70s. With Green Lung, you can tell it's a modern band taking on those sort of styles.
Yeah. Although they're just singing about stuff from the 70s.
Yeah.
That happened in Alderley Edge. I mean, I only remember that one because it just keeps mentioning Alderley Edge. I'm thinking, I know where that is.
I've been there. I've been there
on my bike, ride through it and everything.
Right, well, I'm going to take that as a win, to be honest.
I wouldn't.
But I'm going to.
Paul just said it was all right.
I'm still taking that as a win.
I mean, after the kick in the last month, I would actually, yeah.
I got such a kick in last month.
It's because you bring fucking shit.
Right, well, let's move on then. Let's go to Paul's choice.
Okay, well, I'm not dreading this because this is a curveball of the highest order. This is an album that came through to us to review on the review site that we do. And I just found it really interesting. I think this is a band called. I'm going to try my best with the pronunciation.
Go on.
I'm glad. Take a run up, Paul. Take a run up.
They're
Welsh accent.
Arkan Asrafokor, I think. Asrafokor. They're from Togo in Africa, and they basically state they are the only heavy metal band in Togo, which I have no reason to dispute because I can't name another heavy metal band from the entire continent, let alone the Cane Country. So this came through. It's got elements of many different genres in there: thrash, a lot of new metal, some rap, and certainly some tribal music. Sung in 3 different languages. It's sung in French, English, and the native tongue called EWE, I believe. There's bits of kind of Soulfly, Sepultura, The Who all come to mind, but early Slipknot and Linkin Park in there as well. I think you could say each track is completely different. There's no particular consistency in comparison to Castle Rat. If Simon thinks every song sounds the same in that, I don't think you can say the same about this one. It might be a little bit too jumpy in terms of going back and forth. I think this is going to be really divisive because I think you're either going to love it or absolutely hate it. And I reckon Simon will hate it for a start. I think it's really raw, rudimentary in some things, but I've seen some videos of them online and they're basically playing in one room with some limited resources, I would say. And I was reading an interview earlier on where they were saying they had to travel 24 hours just to play a gig. So It's pretty tough for them.
We've all done that.
Yeah. So it was a bit different. So I thought rather than throw in something that I knew you'd like Battlesnake, who are actually playing in Bristol and I can go and see them which is really good when I come back from holiday. So I threw this one in. The track I'm going to pick is the closing track on the album called The Calling, and I'm prepared to have a good kick in on this one.
I'll take this first. I'm going to have to disagree with the divisive you either love or you hate it. I just didn't mind it. It was just all right. It's definitely aggressive. It's definitely African, or it's totally different. So when you find out they're from Africa, you put those two together. I thought the same. The Hints of Sepultura. I think it's the tribal drumming, isn't it? Early Sepultura. That tribal drumming that gives that. I thought it was a little bit samey, but I will go for just good. It was a bit metalcore for me as well, which I didn't really tickle me. I don't know if you thought the same as with a metalcore thing, but it was just all right. I would watch him if I was at a festival and they were playing. I would wander over and I would definitely watch him. But I don't think I would spend money to go to see for a ticket on their own, even if it's a small venue, Simon.
Well, you definitely wouldn't go then. You'd only go if they were playing like a big arena in Denmark or somewhere like that.
Oh, for Christ's sake. So, go on, Adam, what were your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. It was a bit of a surprise when the first track kicked in, and there's the sort of West African harmonies and that kind of stuff on the vocals, and the I don't know whether it's bongos or tabla or whatever percussion instrument that they're bringing in. I thought when there's the actual metal side of it, again, like you said, there's influences of Slipknot and Sepultura and stuff, which are bands that I grew up on. So some of the riffs, especially, were like really got me like that. I think some of the production, like you said, they probably don't have the best equipment to work with from the sounds of it. But I thought it could have tightened up in some of the guitar tones as weren't quite hitting it for me. The drumming was great. I probably thought that on some of the tracks which were more straight up metal, I kind of missed the African influence. I think they should have led more into that. I think that's where they were most interested, is where they're bringing those flavours into it. But yeah, enjoyed it. Probably won't be in a rush to listen to much. There's maybe a couple of tracks that I might stick on again, but probably won't listen to the full thing. But yeah, it was a nice surprise and an interesting listen.
He's describing a band as interesting. Is that a compliment?
Yeah. It certainly had energy.
It's just a way of saying they're a bit. Could do better.
Well, no, because interesting is better than boring, certainly.
Yeah, definitely.
I enjoy it when you hear bands that bring in sort of their own cultural influences into the metal style, and I think this is the first time I've heard an African band do it. And enjoyed that style, that's sort of those sort of the different keys that they play in, and the way they work with with 2 or 3 part vocal harmonies going on that were really quite cool. I think in terms of the actual metal songwriting, I think some of the structurally, like, they had some decent riffs, but I think some of the transitions between one riff to another sounded a bit clunky. So yeah, I think they're a decent band, but probably maybe another album or 2 down the line, they could be really good.
Yeah, a few more live gigs.
Yeah. I think you can probably hear that in the sound that they need to play a bit more live.
Jungle Rock from Africa.
I'm not sure.
Who? Jungle Rock?
Yeah.
No.
Are they not?
They're from America.
Right,
okay.
I'll cut that out.
How embarrassing!
I'm going to cut that out. So that one.
How embarrassing!
I think they're from America. I'm pretty sure I've seen them. So.
Oh God, I hope they are now, Paul, for your sake.
It doesn't matter. It won't go out.
Yeah, they're from Wisconsin.
Oh Christ!
Oh yeah, that great city in Africa, Wisconsin.
So moving swiftly on to Simon. I'm guessing you love this, Simon. You got a T-shirt on order?
Yeah. I mean, I wish you not told me the sob story beforehand, because now I feel a bit.
Story?
You know, they're from Africa. They don't have much. They've got to travel a day just to do a gig, and all that stuff, you know. I kind of agree with what you've all said, really. They are all over the place. The songs are all over the place. The structures, it feels like they throw everything into one song. They've just thought of another riff. Well, just stick it in there and let's just carry this song on a 30 seconds more because I've just wrote this thing and we can add it on to the end of the song. The singing style it changes every song. It changes in the song as well, you know. I think you've picked the best song, though. The last song is, I think, the best song on the album. I think it's the one song where he actually calms down rather than shouting and growling. He actually sings in it as well, if I'm got the right song. I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
sure
it was the last song.
Yeah, it's the one I enjoyed the most anyway. At first I hated it, but like you said, every influence that you mentioned, it's pretty clear as well. That first song, you're going, I'm sure that's a Slipknot. Are they trying to be Slipknot? And then the next thing, they're trying to be somebody else. And like you say, then you've got the tribal drums that are coming on. You're thinking, well, that's from Chaos AD. You know, that's popping out from there, or even Territory or Roots or whichever. You know, some Sepultura stuff anyway. But yeah, I mean, I was going to come in with a pan and a wooden spoon and start playing drum beat from it. Which I don't want to. I'm not going to do now because
No, you're not.
I feel really bad taking the piss. Really, considering what they've had to go through. It's not for me, and I'm never going to listen to it again. And I thought this was your choice, Neil. You know, I thought, fucking hell. I did genuinely think, what goes through his head that he thinks people are going to enjoy this? Because it is all over the place and not in a good way. And by song 7, I was thinking, I can't remember, what was the album that we did at Christmas? And it was a mess. And they tried to be new metal 1 minute and something else another minute. But then by track 10, it became really good. The album.
Oh, it was the one. There was one track that you liked. Was it Code Orange?
Yes, I think it might be Code Orange. Yeah. So I was thinking around track 7 or 8. I think I might have a Code Orange moment here because there's parts of this that I'm kind of waning to, and then they did. Is it called Mambi or something like that?
Yeah.
And oh my god, that's an awful song. That is awful. So it brought me right back down to earth. I wasn't having a Code Orange moment. Best song is the last one because I think it's probably got the best structure to the whole song. I think it's more of a what you'd class as a run of the mill song. But I mean, I'm never ever going to listen to it again, ever.
So, Paul, are we taking this as a win? Paul, are we?
I mean, I wouldn't because I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, he hasn't said this is fucking shit, which is what he normally does. So I'll take that as a win.
He's not said wincing crap.
No, it's not. It's not shit though, is it? It's just
it's certainly not
all over the place. And like Adam said, if they had an album or two down the road, or more gigs, or just someone at the side of him saying, maybe someone, I don't know what, obviously the circumstances are, what the rest of the band members in. But if they had another band member that had a ton of experience, said, look, take this bit out, extend this bit, let's not do it like that, let's do it, they might have a thing, because they're clearly talented.
They can play, can't they?
Yeah, they can definitely play, yeah. There's some good drum stuff on it and things like that, so, yeah. They've certainly got grooves and riffs in them, haven't they? Because there's about 10 in every song. So they're not shy of creating a riff here and there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I think that's close to a win, Paul.
I'll take that. I'll take that. It's no battle snake, but it'll do.
No.
Yeah, Adam, I'm sure we know what album you're bringing forward.
Yep, I'm bringing Barbarian Hermit, Mean Sugar, released on APF Records a month ago. Sort of stoner doom sludge from Manchester, bit of sort of some more traditional metal in there, some psychedelic influences. We sort of threw everything we had at it. It took us about 4 years to write, 12 days to record, and then yeah, the rest is history.
Seriously, was it 4 years?
Yeah, I think because we had the pandemic in the middle of it and all that kind of stuff. I broke my hand halfway through writing it as well, so I had to take 3 months off there. And yeah,
which hand, left or right?
My left. Yeah, fell down the stairs and broke
the important one as well. Yeah.
So I was a bit worried.
Can't play guitar, but you can't play guitar, but you can still wank. So
in the Alma.
Yeah, just go down to Alma with the 5 in the pocket.
Yeah. You need to use your hands, do you?
Yeah, let's go to the Alma.
Yeah. So what track would you like us to put on the playlist?
I will choose. I think my current favourite song on the album is "Kick Up the Dust." Mainly because I wrote most of the riffs on that one. That's kind of my baby. Is that song? Quite a lot of the other stuff is either very collaborative or like Battle of Compromat, for instance. That's all Mike, the other guitarist.
Right.
So, but yeah, "Kick Up the Dust" is one that I wrote it at home during lockdown, during the period when we couldn't get into the practice room. So I recorded it on my little setup that I've got at home. And then when we got back into the room, so I said, "Here you go, lads. This is what I've been up to." And then we fleshed it out from there.
Nice.
Do you allow other people to say, "Can we change
this
a bit? Can we do that bit?"
I mean, that was just like the rough structure, most of the risk. But yeah, there was tinkering with it, which I'm more than happy to take suggestions and work with the lads to make sure it's the best song it can be.
And when you're making your own songs, do you do out the drum pattern as well?
No, I wish I could, but I've tried, but I just don't understand the drums enough to be able to write
never.
Listen, drummers don't understand.
Yes, I need that's something that I could do with learning how to do. But yeah, I usually just put a click track, or like if there's sometimes there's like a sample pack that I just take a basic drum beat that's sort of in time to where I want the final song to be, and then the drummer scraps that and then writes something actually good over the top of it.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I'll take this one first. It's
here we go. Sorry about this, Adam.
Everyone knows I love Bob.
Get ready to blush.
Yeah, you can do as well. Honestly, I love your band. I've seen you quite a few times. I saw you first at the APF showcase.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, you were the first live review that I ever did as well. That gig,
yeah.
that festival was the first. Yeah, and I remember writing.
What year was that? Because I think we did 2 or 3 of those.
I knew you were going to say that because I can't remember. It was with Molasses, Mastiff, Battalions.
Well, that might be one of the first ones, I think.
Yeah, it's quite a while ago. But yeah, I remember writing in my review, "I am stood at the front barrier like a 9-year-old girl, excited, waiting for Guns N' Roses." That's exactly how I felt because it was the first time I was going to see it. And yeah, awesome. And I've got to be honest, when I found out Ed had left and you'd got a new singer, I didn't know at the time he was the original singer, then come back. I was worried.
Right.
And then when I saw you at Riffulation last year, I didn't need to worry. Awesome. Absolutely brilliant album. Absolutely brilliant live. It's definitely top 10 album this year, if not top 5. I absolutely love it. And I'm not just saying that. That's the case. I love it.
Thank you, man. That's really nice to hear. Glad you do.
You don't have to be nice to him, honestly. That is absolutely
until we get to you.
That is, oh my God. So that first gig, I actually know 3 of them 4 bands now.
Yes, you do.
So Molasses, whatever they were called.
Right, Molasses.
Yeah, awful. Battalions, good set of lads.
Yep.
Not heard anything they've done though because they didn't bring their album.
Have they been on this and not brought their own album?
Yeah. It was 2 months ago, but we were like new albums and they got nothing out of them all.
Right.
They bottled it.
They brought Iron Monkey, didn't they?
Iron Monkey, which actually Simon liked, which completely threw me and Simon.
You and Simon?
Me and Paul, sorry.
No, it's better.
And Simon.
And Sam, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You turned into a music fan, Simon.
Won't go that far. Paul, what did you think?
Well, I just went through the review I wrote for Metal Talk, and I just got a couple of quotes from it, and I can just leave it at that. So I've got gravel-throated vocals with infectious grooves, an overall vibe that switches between good times and unnerving intimidation. This is not music for the faint-hearted. Bowel-trembling stuff underpinned by a gargantuan riff likely to cause structural damage when played live. Yeah, I liked it.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's one of my favourites of the year. I've liked it. I've liked you guys for a long time. I think I've seen you once some time ago. When did you play Damnation?
We've not played Damnation.
You're not?
Yet.
No, it wasn't you then. I thought you
It was
might
that
have played
other band that's
Damnation.
called Barbarian Hermit.
Yeah. I may not have seen you then because I don't think you come down the south very often, do you?
Not as much as we'd like to. We've played in... So where
Have you played Bloodstock?
We played Bloodstock twice, yeah.
That's where I've seen you.
Yeah,
I knew it was a festival. I was thinking smaller, but obviously it's one of the big ones that Neil goes to.
You knew that was coming as well.
Yeah, we did the
I
New
hope
Blood
that
stage
sticks.
on there. Yeah, we played the New Blood stage in 2018, and then we opened the Sophie stage in 2019.
And I was there
right.
again.
Yeah.
So next time, main stage.
Main stage,
is what
yeah,
we're
we need to
saying.
get
Stage there.
tick them all off.
Yeah.
Cool. So, nothing else to add. Love it. Great album.
Cheers.
Are you ready, Adam? Go on,
Brace
Sam.
yourself.
What type of genre is it then? This.
Why does that
Yeah,
matter?
we say sort of Stoner Doom, but that's just like the nearest thing we can sort of fit a label to it. But it's like slow, sludgy. Some of the stuff is sludge. But I decided to call it heavy metal.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
fair.
that's what I've said all along. Like, because every time they bring an album to me, it's this genre, it's this genre. You know what I mean? And I've said, why can't it just be?
We write stuff, so we tend
metal?
we do put labels on stuff, which is fair.
We write stuff. We're journals. we've got to get everything right. How can I say this? So when it first starts and you've got that dawn, you know, the nice riff that comes in. The first 2 or 3 minutes of that thing, I'm thinking, all right, yeah, it's okay. The singing's not what I personally like. You know, that's really not for me. It doesn't mean it's rubbish or it's crap. But then halfway through that first song, I'm sure it's the first song, you stop and the bass just kicks in on its own. And then the song kind of takes a different direction. And I'm thinking, well, this is exactly what I want to hear. I want to hear something where it starts one way and then your ears prick up because you're thinking if the song just carried on how it starts for 4 or 5 minutes, me personally, I'd be bored and I'd just be like, this, it's just not for me at all. It's not what I enjoy. It's not what I like. What I do like is music that kind of piques, you know, my interest and I like hearing when you write in a certain way and then you throw something else in. So when you stop and the bass, you know, goes on its own, then you all come back in and then the second song to me felt like a little bit too samey of the first. But then song 3, I'm not going to go for every song, don't worry, but song 3 is about a minute. Song 3 is about a minute long, which personally I'm all there for a minute long song. But then at song 4, you kind of do the same thing again, where it starts one way, but by the end of the song, you're kind of finishing it a different way than it started.
Who put 50p?
Yeah.
Is that what
The drums on the 50p song, I really like them.
Yeah, he played his socks
your
off
drummer's
there.
he's a really good drummer. Yeah, his beats that he's doing along with the guitars and that, I'm really liking that. And then the rest of the album carried on for that. And I think it got better and better. So the last 2 or 3 tracks, I think are the best.
Oh wow!
Personally, you know, That number 7 though, whoever wrote that in his bedroom, I wouldn't go for that one that much. 8, 9. no, I'm joking. Yeah. But 8, 9, and 10, it is good. I enjoyed it. I gotta be honest with you, it's not, like I said, the singing isn't for me at all. But musically, like I say, apart from song 2, without listening to it again, I think every song starts one way, but then you do something different, either close to the end or in the middle of it, and there is something it holds your attention, and for that the rest of the song as well, and like I say, musically, it really, really good, and it really does, move forward. And like I say, I was constantly thinking, what they're going to do now. Or this, you can tell it's like Doom a Stone or whatever it's called. But then I don't think it stays like that, because you do something different.
Yeah, I mean, we've all got a huge range of influences in the band. We wanted to chuck a bit of ourselves into it, and also we're very conscious of, we want to keep surprising the audience or the listener.
Yeah,
and we want to keep ourselves on our toes as well with it. I mean, when Mike sort of started the band 10 years ago, his sort of vision was to be one of those bands that just sort of plays one riff and slow and sludgy and like Sleep and that kind of Cone and those kind of bands. But we kind of got bored after a couple of minutes of playing the same riff, so we ended up being a bit quicker pace and a bit more structured to our songs, rather than just being that.
There is a lot of groove in your stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. There's one song, it might be the 50p song, but your drummer's kind of, you're going like...
Give it his right name, the fool.
Well, I don't know him. I do,
absolutely. I mean, give the song...
Sorry. Put 50p in you.
Sorry. Yeah, but there's, if it is that song or it's the one after, but he's kind of going... And I'm thinking, I love the sound and what he's thinking with what you're playing on the guitar as well.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's quite intricate, some of the stuff that you guys are doing as well. And like I said, I did like it. Like I said, I've got to be honest, singing wise, it's not for me. But I think live, like I've said about, it was our other friend, Imperium. I think live it'd be a totally different experience to listen to it on your headphones or wherever you listen to music these days. So. Yeah,
and I think that's what...
Adam, I take that. That's basically you just received a Grammy.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's probably another reason why it took so long to write as well, because even though there is sort of the structures aren't that outlandish, but we'd write it one way, and then especially the drummer Gaz, he was such a perfectionist in wanting to put something more interesting in. So he might write a simple drum pattern that we'd play with for a bit, and then we'd go back and sort of rewrite it with something slightly different and put little twists and turns. And it was those sort of bells and whistles that took the longest to sort of iron out.
I think what some drummers like to do is you write the song, you get the song perfect, and then with guitars, I don't want to put guitarists down here, but with guitars, you can kind of change as you go.
Yeah.
Where drums, you kind of, once you've built the foundation, that's the foundation. So it's always nice to go back and go, right, I've lived with this song for a month or 2 months now. We know the song. I just want to try this. Exactly. I think I can do this bit to that riff and that. And that's, if that's what he's doing, then that's cool.
I like pretty
that.
Much how it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best way to be. Otherwise, you just end up sounding like the Foo Fighters, playing one riff all the time, and everyone being really bored.
Yeah. Hey, it's happened again.
But funnily enough, the drummer's a massive Foo Fighters fan as well.
Is he?
Yeah, well, I think he's just a Dave Grohl fan.
Well, I mean, hopefully just a Dave Grohl being a drummer fan, because Dave Grohl being anything else, fucking horrible.
Every episode.
Every time.
And one day, the prick will hear it.
One day we're going to get him on. One day we'll get him on. And you'll
Bring him on.
I love your first album. You did everything on there.
Yeah. Well done, you egomaniac.
Well, nice one.
Excellent.
So that's we're going for obviously you're giving it a thumbs up, Adam, so we're going for 4 thumbs up.
Nice one.
Nice. And he doesn't lie. Obviously, you can tell. So
Yeah.
Nice. Right, Simon, is it time for a classic?
Play something we know.
It is. And I've got to be once again, I'm going to be really honest with you here.
You've not played it.
I've not. I know this album inside out. So, but
I'm
usually
guessing every one of us is the same. So
usually I do give it a listen to, but I have been pressed for time since coming back from holiday. So, so I've not really listened to it. But I think this band put the fun in thrash in the 80s. I think thrash was far too serious, took itself too serious. But when a band come along and they start singing about being a walking dude and, clapping with only one hand because you're not listening to them and stuff like that, I love them. Anthrax, the album Among the Living, brilliant. Start to finish. Me and a friend of mine, after every gig when I were driving him home to Manchester, we used to put Among the Living on and just be screaming our heads off to it at 3 a.m, as you do. And I've seen them loads. I think I've seen nearly every song of this. I used to watch...
How big was the venue, Simon?
What, that I played?
No.
All right. I didn't want to embarrass you then.
Were you so Anthrax?
Well, let's see. First time was the Apollo.
Big venue.
Depends on your size of big. First time I saw him actually was the NEC.
That's a big
Was
venue.
that Clash of the Titans?
No. I was too young for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
No, you're not.
I am.
You're
87, 89 Clash of the Titans.
Paul, you're the man for that.
87.
89, I'd say.
I think it's 87, 88. Check it out. Google, give it a Google.
Go on, keep talking. I'll do it.
So I missed Clash of the Titans anyway. So NEC supporting Iron Maiden on No Press. So 91, I think it was. Persistence of Time tour. Then I've seen them countless other times at other festivals and arenas. But I used to watch.
I was with you on that when we watched them.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. And then I used to have the video. And for years I'm going, how do you say that? Flunking and then I think it's only when someone points out it's a nice fucking video. But, just him thinking. But we used to obviously watch that all the time when we were kids. And love it. Among the Living. Classic, I think. I hope everybody agrees. Not like last month, anyway.
We all agreed, apart from you.
Adam, do you like Weezer?
I do, yeah.
Thank you. I wish you were on last month.
Yeah, Blue Album's one of my favourite albums of all time.
Thank you. What else haven't you liked? I'm just going to ask Adam if you like. Adam, what do you think of Anthrax Among the Living?
I love it. Yeah, it's a classic, like you say. My first introduction to Anthrax, I bought a best of Anthrax, which is pretty much just Among the Living with a couple of other tracks on.
Yeah.
Among the Living with Antisocial.
Yeah, exactly.
Among the Living with Antisocial and Medusa on.
Yeah, and they did with Public Enemy, Bring the Noise as well.
Bring the Noise, yeah.
Or Madhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Madhouse, yeah.
But yeah, the tracks on this, like Caught in a Mosh and NFL and Indians, just classics. I think I've mentioned guitar tones on when I've talked about every other album on this, so I might as well mention Scott Ian's pretty crunch. Like he's the king, isn't he?
Yeah. I think Dan Spitz actually doesn't get the love that he probably deserves. So Scott Ian gets a lot of love, I think, because he's in the public eye a lot more. But I think Dan Spitz, his guitar works really good. His solos are fantastic as well.
Yeah, he handles most of the leads, doesn't he? So.
Neil would have heard this a million times, right? But have you ever seen the Anthrax documentary that they released? They did 15 minutes, like either every week or every 2 weeks on YouTube.
Oh,
It was a couple of years ago.
For their 40th.
The 40th.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I've not seen
Did you see any of that? Right. Well, I suggest you go back and listen to it, right? Because every episode, Charlie Benanti kind of has the same thing to say, right? So it'll be, yeah. So I came up with this design for the album. That's the album, Among the Living. That's the drawing for it. And I came up with the design, and that's what we went with. Next episode. Yeah. So I came up with the design, and that's the album, and that's that. And no word of a lie, it's like 7 episodes on the bounce. Yeah. So I had this idea for like a clock and some time and some other things.
Not Swedish. What is it with your bloody Swedish accent?
I think you'll find that's the New York accent. Yeah. So I came up with the design, and there it is. Look, that's my picture, and that's what we did. And then we just added like persistence of time on there, and that was my idea, and that was what I recognised, and it came to truth. Yeah. So go watch the Anthrax documentary, The 40 Years. Charlie Benanti just says the same thing every episode.
I'd love to say that he's lying, but he's actually not.
Go on, Neil. What do you think?
Oh, absolute thrash classic, heavy metal classic. Put the word, any other word in front of it, it's a classic. No doubt about it. Every tune, brilliant, perfect for my childhood. I was at school.
Yeah.
I bought I Am the Law.
Yeah.
12-inch single, poster up on my bedroom wall. Learn the lyrics in a day. Can sing along to it. Could probably sing along to them now.
Yeah.
Indians is a classic.
Yeah.
There's loads of classics on there.
It's
a fantastic album, and it really hurts me to say this, but you are right, Simon. They did have a bit of fun, but yeah, everyone was serious. Everyone were either the world's going to die, which was great, or we can drink more than you, which was great. I'm probably wrong, and it was something. And then they came around just fucking about.
I think it was the baseball caps either backwards or with the flap up. The Bermuda shorts that they wear on thingy. Swapping instruments about when they were playing. What is it? Do not do. Bring the noise, isn't it? It's their version of Bring the Noise. Yeah, when they're doing that and they're swapping instruments about. They're just having a good time on stage. Yeah, which even your Slayer definitely didn't. Probably still don't, and never will do again.
Which was the point.
Yeah, Megadeth and Metallica were too serious. They didn't even have that much of a giggle on stage. Changed now. Certainly Metallica have changed now. They try to have a laugh on stage and blah blah blah. But
I think they did a bit, but certainly
I think Anthrax,
it was an intention with Anthrax.
Yeah, definitely. Anthrax was a fun time. Yeah. You're going to see there's going to be pits. There's going to be crowd surfing, stage diving.
The first pit I ever saw was at Donington '87 when I first time I saw them, and I'd never seen moshing, and I'd heard about it. It wasn't a circle pit. That didn't happen in '87. It was just people. Obviously, it looks like kicking the shit out of each other. I know it's not, and I do it myself, but it was like standing there going, "What's that? I like that." Yeah. But there was a guy in there with a whip, and he's just whipping everybody. And that didn't last long. He got someone belted him in the face and threw him out. But yeah, absolute classic. Obviously, the band will play. Well, we're going to see them this year, and I'm sure a lot of the set will be from that album, as it always is.
Yeah.
If they don't do Indians, it's like Iron Maiden not doing Run to Hills. It's just got to happen.
Yeah.
I know Paul has a story about Scott Ian.
Oh, please, hang on. Just please be good. Please, Paul.
I'm not going to do the Scott Ian story because it sounds like a great. I would be really happy if they never fucking played Indians again.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew it. As soon as you mentioned Run to the Hills, I've just thought,
hate.
Oh yeah.
I've picked the thingy one.
It's the bloody pantomime element of war dance that does my head in. I have not been to a gig where Scott Ian hasn't stopped the crowd, even if they're losing their shit, and said, "This is meant to be a metal gig. I'm going to say it again, and you're going to lose your mind." And it didn't matter what has happened. And I have seen Anthrax more than any of the big four. I saw them twice in 1986. I saw their second ever gig in the UK when they were supporting Metallica. I've got tickets to see them in London this year. They're a great live band, but in my opinion, there is a reason why they are fourth in the big four, and that's because they're not as good as the other three.
Ooh, I don't think I agree with that one.
I don't agree with that either.
They haven't released an album for 8 years.
Yeah.
This is their flagship. If you compare the first 4 albums from the big four, these are the Anthrax are the weak link. You cannot compare their earlier stuff to some of Metallica's or Megadeth's or Slayer's.
Yeah, I disagree. For me, Anthrax are far better than Slayer for me.
I would agree with Neil there. So apart from, what was Slayer's first 4 albums? Are you including Haunting the Chapel and
No,
Live
Show
and
No
Dead?
Mercy, Hell Awaits, Rain in Blood, and South of Heaven, which was one of your classics.
Oh yeah, well, South Heaven is a classic. Yeah,
You can't hold them up again. For me, and this is my opinion,
I'm not a fan of Show No Mercy, but I'm not a fan of.
I'm not a fan of Fistful of Metal either.
I was just going to say I'm not a fan of Fistful of Metal either.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Fistful of Metal.
But yet, Kill 'Em All, a fan of.
Yeah.
Megadeth's Killing Is My Business and Business Is
that's
Good.
pretty weak.
That's all.
The following 3. I mean, I think the challenge for me with this album is a bit like a lot of them. I don't dispute it's a classic. Don't dispute it at all. But I played it on the way home from Coventry on Sunday morning, and I was just bored with it.
Is that because you've heard it so much?
I don't know. I think there's an element of, yes, I've heard I Am the Law so much that a bit like Run to the Hills and Enter Sandman and all of those, if you had to pick an ace of spades from Anthrax, it would either be this or Antisocial. Yeah. And I would discount Antisocial because it's not theirs.
Yeah.
So I Am the Law was the only track that they played on the 1986 tour. Everything else was from Fistful and from Spreading the Disease. But I Am the Law was out as the single, and they played that.
They'd have a good run, though. For album 3, 4, and 5. Persistence of Time. I fucking love Persistence of Time. I think it's a brilliant album.
Yeah, but I've said about the first 4. And I mean, most of the bands have dipped off. This is just my opinion. I don't think Anthrax should even be in the big 4. I think Exodus should be. But that's my opinion. It's not anything other than a classic. You can't argue with it. I've got 2 copies of the vinyl in the house. I've got the 40th anniversary reissue. I just think that I'd like them to make some new music.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Because their last album, actually, For All Kings, I actually thought was really good.
Yeah, it's an extremely good album, very much so.
But I just, for me, they are the weaker ones of the thing, and I understand why you enjoyed it. When I was 16, the Knot thing was really funny, but a bit like Acid Rain being labelled a joke band because of you never know when the nibbles will strike and that kind of thing. I think Anthrax suffered a little bit from the comedy element because of that. The shtick, yeah. But I can't argue with the album. It's that the opening bars of Among the Living. Jesus Christ, if they play that when they play that at Hammersmith in November, I'm going to have to remember that I'm 54 and can't do mosh pits anymore because it immediately gets you moving, doesn't it? And you want to be in there.
I'll be in there.
Yeah, I'm older than you.
Just a year. Right, well, we're still on 4 thumbs up there, aren't we?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, as you may have noticed, due to the lateness of this episode and the fact we only have an audio version of it, we had some technical difficulties in this recording. This is the reason why it took so long to appear. Sorry about that. I have had many a rampant fan contacting me asking where episode number 15 is. It's here. It's now. Genuinely, thanks to Adam from Barbarian Hermit for his time. He was a wonderful guest. I'm sure you will agree. Most entertaining, most informative. The Mean Sugar album is awesome. We are not just saying that because he was on this episode. It truly is. have a listen. That's the only way you're going to find out. As always, try out all the bands we have discussed. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. There is a playlist in the notes with a track list with a track from each band to give you an idea. Thanks for your time. Please do all the social media bollocks of liking and subscribing. It really, really does help promote this podcast. Thanks for joining us. See you next time to see if we can convince the miserable metal mind.